Who am I? Gosh, what a delving and tricky little question you ask. How best to articulate and where to start? Perhaps with some of my fundamental beliefs on standards and ways of living. Above all things, I value sameness and conformity. That is, unless your individuality has reached the level of extraordinary. If you're going to be different in my presence, you better make damn sure that you do it spectacularly and acceptably well. I have no time for your average run-of-the-mill different. If you are arrogant enough to decide that my path is not for you, please ensure that you're rocking A++ different, which is to say that you're different in a way that I still find pleasing and can enjoy and be entertained by. There is no room for your difference to challenge me. I do not like challenge, and I don't rate change as a tool for growth either. Instead, you must be perfect at all times, because perfect is the path to wealth, happiness, and success. By perfect, I do mean my very particular kind of perfect, the one I have been telling people to be for centuries now. Please, I beg you, don't trouble yourself trying to think of a different version of success. Trust me and mine. Women should be tall, but not too tall. Their breasts should be just so. Their hips and waist should fall in a graceful, slender curve, but without an inch of fat. Fat is not perfect. I do not accept fat. What's that you say? Over 60% of the population are. Well, that's because they are not yet perfect. Women must endeavour to always be well turned out in the latest told and sold to them seasonal fashion, with hair only in the right places and none in the wrong. The aesthetic of a woman is vitally important, despite the efforts of some in recent years to change that. I mean, it's nice if they have the wit to hold a good conversation, get a decent job, but it's by no means imperative. Which reminds me, if you have a womb, one of your key duties in life is to grow within it a child. Be prepared to answer significant questions on this if you haven't started popping them out in my timeframes. Adoption is a suitable alternative in the face of mechanical issues, but all of this always only in wedlock. Oh no, hang on, wait, what is it now? Committed monogamous relationships, heterosexual or same sex. I've had to appear to move with the times a little to keep everyone compliant. I have designed my system to work optimally, intergenerationally, and have found that family, well, my version of it, works wonders for the fast handing down of my beliefs and the continued existence of the enclosed system. What do you mean you don't want kids? Well, for a start, who will look after you when you're old? And second, who will you live your life vicariously through in order to keep my system regenerating? Now, men should be rugged, handsome, intelligent, and yet soft and sensitive. The good ones know when it's the right time to alpha up and when it's the right time to show some humility and back down. They only get one chance to get this right. Make a wrong turn and they're either a bully or weak and a geek. And no, you don't get to change your label once I've given it to you. I don't do refunds, returns, or do-overs. Once good, always good. Once bad, always bad. That clear? Sorry, you're mumbling. Something about fair? Fair doesn't exist. Nothing in life is fair. Mind you, some are lucky enough to be born in a better postcode where things can seem a little easier. I'll let you into a little secret. That's actually the process I'm most proud of creating. When that newborn is nestled in its parents' arms, fresh in the world, and they look into its eyes and see and feel the ruse of limitless possibilities, when actually that's my first opportunity to give their child its first label of expectation. Well, start them young. Let them know where they stand from the get-go. And you said I wasn't fair. Ah, yes, that first label is always the best and often the most powerful, I find. So it really is quite futile to be thinking about treading a different path to the one that I've auto set for you at birth. Good postcode is university, professional job, gorgeous home and picture postcard family. Bad postcode is substandard education, poor job and housing prospects, and a shorter life of scraping and struggling. Both, though, I've engineered so they can come with illness, physical and mental, huge debt, deep unhappiness, and a persistent gnawing feeling of unease and entrapment. Don't ever say I discriminate. Yet, despite all my hard work to manifest this system for everyone, there are still the odd few who come along with ideas above their postcode station, try to break out of their predetermined path. I dislike them, but I can cope as long as they switch without too much noise into one of my other predetermined paths and knuckle down and get on with it. But still, I do often wonder, who do they think they are? An autonomous individual? Top tip, to best survive in my world, remember to be smart and utilize your common sense. Just make sure that your sense is indeed common and toes my party line. No room for differing opinions here. And don't forget to take all the opportunities to demonstrate to others your goodness. No, don't worry, there's no need to actually take good actions. Just make sure that you appear to be a good person. This is where the internet has really stepped up my game. The odd post, photo, video here and there really does keep my little web of shame very well weaved, which is all that I really need to keep everyone in check. No, it doesn't matter that the reason that some might not be visibly good is because they're busy actually doing good, like caring for their elderly parents or the like. I mean, just take a photo of it. It's not hard. It's just a couple of clicks. No, it's not an invasion of their privacy. After all, you're all my public property. You should know from the start, if we're going to be pals, you will never be enough in my eyes. You will never do enough, get enough, find enough, save enough, be good enough. You will never be perfect enough. But that's no excuse to stop trying, because the only thing worse than not reaching the pinnacle of enough is not even attempting to reach the pinnacle of enough. Over the years, I have mastered the perfect response to those who turn their back completely on my way. I call this very small collective the weirdos. Turn your back on me and I will take a swift two-step approach of isolate and obliterate, which is to say simply that I will make you invisible to my majority clique. I despise the weirdos. They are so much lesser than me that they barely warrant my attention. Once invisible, I assume they slink off to their dark, unsuccessful, unhappy caves. But I must admit, I've never actually bothered to check. I mean, why would I? In summary, know that you will never feel worthy. Worth could, after all, lead to dissent, uprising, and revolution, to an opening of the mind to a different way. And then how would the 1% of the 1% pay for their super yachts? No, worthiness just won't do. There is no place for it here. Do not trust yourself. Do not seek alternatives. Do not listen to your heart. Do not embrace change. Do not face your fear. Do not love unconditionally. Just don't. If you're unsure or ever feel the need to exercise your own decision-making faculties, please contact me first, and I will be more than happy to set you back on the right path. Who am I, you asked? Why? I'm your culture, and I thank you so much for your continued cooperation.